Alright, it's time for some mail. It's been a little while, been a couple of weeks. The mail has slowed down considerably, so there won't be these hour-long videos anymore for a while. I actually was just holding off on doing one of these to see how much I could accumulate, and have a sort of normal-sized video, because I don't want to make lots of small ones and flood my channel with it. But the mail is actually so slow that even after only 2 weeks, it'll be a shorter video, which is fine with me. I'm not complaining about it because these videos can be kind of time-consuming. And I've gotten to the point where a lot of my mail is kind of just coming from the same people anyways. I feel like I've become pen pals with some of you. So I'm going to go ahead and start with one that's not from someone who sent it before and is in a big package that says, "Do not bend" on it. Please do not bend. It's not bent yet, so let's see what's inside. All right, we've got a letter and then three laminated somethings that I'll find out. It says, "Wow, Conrad, great moves. Keep it up. Proud of you. Hey, Digi, I'll keep this short. I've been following you for a long time now and just wanted to let you know you're great. It's me, Stefan. You may or may not remember me or have seen some of my videos, such as my NHK1 or my Evangelion analysis. I have. Steph is another analytical guy about anime with the YouTube channel. Leaves lots of comments. Go check him out. In fact, you and your channel were one of my many inspirations for making an analysis-oriented channel to begin with, so for that I thank you. From a creator to a creator, here is a custom-drawn/inked Evangelion artwork I made for you. Hope you like it. Keep up the awesome work, and I look forward to many more fantastic videos from you. Cheers, Steph. P.S. I didn't want Jess to feel left out, so I drew him some Evangelion groundwork art. Both of you are great. Love the album." Thank you. Alright. This looks great. We've got a Asuka and Shinji standing before a fucking God Ray and Unit 01. Just chilling out, looking fucking blissed. And we've got a bunch of the classic Shinji facial expressions, as seen in the OP, and Asuka being great. I love that Asuka face. And some more Asuka frame by frames. These are all shots that I definitely recognize these facial expressions from the show, and I'm trying to think of what scene this exact moment is from. Now I'm realizing that at this point, thanks to having seen, I think this one's the one for Jessie, because it says copy Jess on it. Actually, they all say that, or two of them do. I'm not sure. I don't know if you want me to give these to Jesse. I think he might want me to give these to Jesse. I'll give it to him when he comes for RadCon 2, if that's your intentions. Anyway, yeah, I was just thinking, man, I've seen so much of Ava's animation now because of all the videos that I've made about it, and watching those videos back and editing them, that there's a significant portion of the show that is just burned into my mind at this point. And I'll never be able to forget. Alright, now let's get into some mail from some returning people, such as someone who's drawn One Punch Man on the front. He says, "What's with kids using dank to describe everything?" And it says, "Digibro 2 Electric Boogaloo" is who it's addressed to. For those who don't know, Electric Boogaloo is used to refer to an unnecessary sequel. Oh. I recognize who this person is by their excellent lettering. God, that looks cool. It's the guy who drew those Yu Yu Hakusho pictures. Now he's got what looks like Liron from Gurren Lagann. This looks like Lupin, doing a monkey face. And I'm not sure who this girl is. Dear Digibro, a tale of man who has yet to realize his destiny. By the time the windy chills of All Hallows Eve passed, a tribute to Akiyuki Shinbo had been erected, and the musical diatribes of mindless self-indulgence in Linkin Park were glorified. Having laid the foundation for an alliance of content creators, the dandy Digibro dashes his delightful way into daring pursuits. Surveying his colossal titan of a project or two, he gasps, Holy Jeebus, we're in weeaboo country. The stage had been set for the next spiral evolution. Row, row, fight to power. If you guessed this was another letter from Foghorn Scorpio, then bingo! How are you and the rest of your crew this November? Since I last wrote you, I've gotten to know your content a lot more. Not only did both Akiyuki Shinbo in the 90s installments address the elephant in the room I mentioned in my previous letter, but I finally understand how Shinbo transitioned from select Yu Yu Hakusho episodes to Panty Pony Dash. To think a show like The Soul Taker could bridge old and new Shinbo together. Thank you for recommending that show. My appreciation for Hideaki Anno has never been higher thanks to your in-depth analysis of him from both a professional and personal level. 10 years ago, my exposure was limited to the God Warrior's lumbering onslaught in the Nazca feature. Since then, I've watched the 39-episode Nadia and the Secret of Blue Water over 2 years ago. Even though I cringed at how Nadia's character was handled during that stranded on an island arc, yeah, you and everybody, I enjoyed Jean tripping balls on shrooms during one of those episodes. Yeah, that's the best part. How could I thank you enough for covering the Daikon 4 music video? It's rare to see cute women dueling Darth Vader with a lightsaber. I worshipped the Daikon 4 spectacle since discovering it in a convention panel that focused on meta within anime. It's been tough searching for Gunbuster in OVA form as opposed to the movie cut, but I want to watch it badly. While I got through a terrible cold in late October, I watched your October 23rd edition of Digibro's Decompression Chamber, where you described your current hopes and dreams for you and your creatives like the Devu and Ben Saint. I love the fun environment you foster, and I hope the scope of everyone's content only grows from here. Perhaps the one video of yours I revisited the most in the past month was My Music History, Taste, Collection, and Influences from Digibro After Dark. Watching it in full 3 times, I thought about how I like a little of everything. At the same time, your video provoked me to re-examine where I focus my physical collecting habits. I also noticed that we appreciate music from different angles. You've always been an album-centric guy who is moving towards a poptimist perspective. With me, I started out as a 9-year-old in 2000 who would play singles from Now 4 over and over again. Funny, I had Now 5. For nearly a decade, I gradually moved away from being a singles guy and appreciate the hierarchy of an album nowadays. Say I wanted to listen to the symphonic metal of Nightwish in their Endless Forms Most Beautiful album. I prefer to experience it in full as it builds up to the greatest show on earth climax. Based on your recommendations, I will most likely check out Circle Takes the Squares as the Roots Undo first, because the ethereal build up to the chaos in non-objective Portrait of Karma was amazing. See, prog rock did a good job of collecting. The way this is written, the text kind of slopes downwards, so it's getting confusing to figure out which line I'm meant to pick up from. See, prog rock and prog metal are the subgenres I'm trying to expand my coverage of. Given that my parents already did a good job of collecting Yes, King Crimson, and Emerson, Lake and Palmer decades ago, I'm scouting out some of the more recent prog bands. Dad and I got into the Mars Volta in 2008-9 during the Bedlam and Goliath era, and Metatron was my favorite song by them at the time. Thinking back to it, I felt like I was on a roller coaster ride through hell. The Proto-Men was a band I heard of thanks to Nintendo Power in 2006. God, really? They reported on them in 2006? It wasn't until 2010 that I checked out Light Up the Night as a single. I loved the 80s hard rock aesthetic of the song especially. I'm kind of surprised Nintendo would promote like something that's basically, you know, IP infringement considering their fucking hardline stance on that kind of stuff now. Sad evolution over time. As the lyrics transition to At the Heart of the City, there's a building... At the heart of the city, there is a building that looks down over all there is. Around the same time I got into Light at the Night, I finished the Gurren Lagann anime, and the dystopian lyrics reminded me of Lord Genome in the Tepelin. I plan to acquire both Proto-Men albums when I can. Agaloch along with Coheed and Cambria are other recommendations of yours that I will examine. There is an AMV of Gurren Lagann set to... what the fuck is the song called? The fuck is that song called? The Fight of Proto-Men! It's like their most famous song. Anyway, there's a Gurren Lagann Proto-Men AMV that I remember watching way back that made the same comparison between the later half of the show and the story of the lyrics. It has been apparent that you're not into jazz that much like your cousin is. Can't say I blame you. Even so, if you want stuff that's short, sweet, and chaotic like the different variants of metal, I recommend John Zorn's Naked City album. During the peak of his Naked City days, he teamed up with a noisy vocalist and abstract numbers were conjured up that only lasted from 30 seconds to a minute and a half. Speedball was my favorite of these, where I imagined a frantic Bugs Bunny on LSD or speed going on a joyride. This next recommendation is less for you and more for your jazz-loving cousin, if you ever bump into him again. Henry Threadgill. He's a distinct free jazz artist who my dad has seen perform live once or twice. Before I grind this letter to a halt, I decided to check out a little bit of the Devu and Ben Saint's content to familiarize myself with them a bit more. I liked the manner in which the Devu presented his tight versus loose side-scrollers, as it brought back my memories of playing Rystar through the Sonic Mega Collection. When I view the line art of Ben Saint, I see him borrowing a page or two from the artists of Oni Press, including Brian Lee O'Malley, while doing things in his own way. His webcomic The Champion is off to a decent start. I can't get over how you're assembling your nakama in one place. You've taken on a very Captain Kirk-esque duty on your very own Starship Enterprise. Whether the seas of your future are smooth sailing or stormy, I know you'll do the impossible and see the invisible. I know you'll go for the gold, loop on the third style. As 2016 crashes towards its climax, it sounds to me like you've got things covered. Best of luck, you're awesome. Sincerely, Foghorn Scorpio. Thank you, very cool letter. Yeah, Captain Kirk-esque. And yes, Ben is a huge fan of Brian Lee O'Malley and Scott Pilgrim, and he definitely took that as like the main influence of his like sort of simplicity style. Like he really likes things that are clean and clear because of Scott Pilgrim. So next up, we've got a new letter from Kenny Cornhusk, who I believe has sent a few, usually with, isn't he the one with the Google Docs? No drawing this time. I'm too lazy to draw something on the outside again, so I bundled the letter with an art project, it says. Alright, here's the art project. It's Zetsubo Sensei saying, "I'm in despair! The internet has left me in despair!" An actual quote from Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei. Indeed, I remember. I was there back in the day. I did watch it while it was airing. In 2007. I had a birthday cake of it. Digi, I have 2 letters waiting for you on my Twitter page. They were blocked for a while. I was responsible for that, but they're open for business. They have been for almost 3 weeks. Ever since the first 8-page Google Doc project, my life has become increasingly ordinary. Well, in comparison to that summer. It's still pretty weird. My group of friends / the cast of side characters, I do this in full awareness that I'm not a protagonist of a shonen anime, just roll with it, has been growing steadily. I believe this will be my last letter. Well, unless people want more. For now, though, I will retire my writer's cap and live out my days in an increasingly self-aware Chunibyo. Sincerely, Kenny, Kenpachi / Bigfoot / Wolverine / Potatoes, Kernicus Cornhusk, and those of the Morning Table Club. Well, if anybody's interested, there's 3 whole letters worth of Google Docs apparently on Kenny Cornhusk's Twitter. Maybe I'll put a link to his Twitter in the description, and anybody who wants to can go read all those letters, because I get the feeling that it would take a long time to read them all on here. Alright, last package. This one is really thick and fucking taped up extremely well. And it comes from an Amy Montoya. So, this package contains an assload of Dragon Ball Z trading cards. Just like a whole ton of these little like hollow foil, looks like they're like cells from the show put onto a weird holographic surface cards. Here's what the back looks like. They're not the card game. They're not from the DBZ card game. They're just DBZ trading cards of like different characters. And there's a letter. Dear Digi, I'm not an asspot looking for a promo, so I'm not going to bother telling you who I am. I just want to give you these sticker cards. They all appear to be bootlegs on fakes or whatever, so feel free to stick a Vegeta on Jesse's ass. Looking forward to more plebeian weeb, Amy. I will absolutely stick one of these Vegetas on Jesse's ass. I didn't realize these were stickers. That's pretty cool. How do you use them? Okay, there we go. Yeah, they just peel. So yeah, I've got now like 1,000 Dragon Ball Z sticker cards. So I could probably fill a whole wall with these. Maybe I'll take some. Maybe I'll like take a board and like put all these on a board and put it in the background of Plebe and the Weeb or something. I will definitely stick a Vegeta to Jesse's ass. I mean, I think Jesse would like that.